the Shia. It was not during the life, of course, Islam is Islam, since the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. There is certain historical background during the time of the fourth caliph, or the fourth ruler of Muslims, till the time that there are certain people or certain section of Muslims, they were attached more to Ali ibn Abi Talib, and then almost 200 years later, after Ali, they have their own way of interpretation of certain things. Just with the exception of the Shia concept of the infallibility of the Imam or the Caliph, the Shia has a certain understanding that the Imam, their Imam, is infallible. He will not make any mistake. Which the Sunni basically reject, because from the Quran, from the tradition, we know the only one infallible is the Prophet, peace be upon him. He received the revelation from Allah, and the revelation came to correct him. Any other person after that is not, he's a human being. Like me and you, he can make mistakes. And the difference in authentication of some hadith, the tradition of the Prophet, due to some subjective political elements, there is no great difference between the two major schools of thought, the Sunni or the Shia. Because actually among the Shia, they have the same Quran, they pray, they fast, they go to Hajj, not in Tehran or whatever, they go to Hajj in Mecca also with the Muslims. No much difference in the main basic principles. So the Sharia legislation mentioned in the Quran and the Sunnah are regarded as divinely ordained, concrete, and timeless for all relevant situations. For example, they ban all kinds of intoxicants, laws of marriage, divorce, and principles of justice and equality among mankind. These are main basic ideas. From that, we can build on. When we talk about the flexibility of Sharia, it can be in all times, anywhere, everywhere, because it's flexible. It gives us principle, and then we can build on these principles. Like these verses from the Holy Quran. O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female, and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and acquainted with all affairs. So, basically, all human beings from male and female, from Adam and Eve, all of them are equal. No difference because of a certain country or the color or whatever, they are all equal. And the one who is really better than the others only in righteousness, in the way he close to God. That's all. He can be of maybe in certain countries before, they say the white is better than a black. But in Islam it's not. We have Bilal from Habasha, from Bithynia or Ethiopia at the time. He was same, like Umar ibn Khattab, like Abu Bakr. He was a black person. Even he was the muazzin of the Prophet peace be upon him. He gave the azan for the Prophet peace be upon him. He was a beautiful voice. Bilal. Another verse, and those who answer the call of the Lord and establish worship, and whose affairs are a matter of counsel, or whose affairs are conducted with mutual consultation. From this verse, actually, how Muslims rules themselves through mutual consultation. That the ruler is not like a God. He decreed whatever he wants. He needs to consult him. From here, we have some sort of that Islam somehow allowed this kind of freedom of the choice of the ruler, freedom even to depose the ruler if he makes mistake. And from the history of the companions of the Prophet, we have many incidents we can talk about. Another verse, indeed, Allah commands you to render trust to whom they are due, and when you judge between people, to judge with justice. This is an infinite principle. Judge with justice among the people. Whether 1,000 years ago, or now, or after 1,000 years, it's still a basic principle, a wonderful principle, a flexible principle. Upon that you build. You have courts, you have what, you have whatever. Judge between people with justice. Be just. There's many other verses in the Bible. The scope of the Sharia, we have matters related to God-human relationship, which is covered under what we said, ibadah, prayer, fasting, alms, charity. And we have matters related to human-human relationship, which is covered under what we call the mu'amalat, contracts, social life, politics, and so on. We have also categories of action. Virtue and vice, good and evil, cannot be rationally determined. People have their own minds. I might look to something, this is good. You might see it as bad. Who can judge? Allah. God, who created me anew, who created the human being. He is, as we say at the beginning, is the wise. He has the mercy, so he knows better than me. He can say what's right and what's wrong. Sometimes we like a thing which is bad for us and hate a thing which is good for us. Allah. That's why the human actions are classified into certain categories. We have what we call halal, allowed, haram, lawful or not allowed, wajib, it's a duty that we do, and if we don't do so, we make a mistake. Makruh, something which is undesirable. If I even do, no punishment for it, but it's better not to do. The main features of the Sharia, it's designed by God. Because as we say, the main source of the Sharia is the Quran, is the Holy Quran. It governs the state and citizens both. It's suitable for all the times and places. It's practical as it covers the spiritual and worldly side of human life. So it organizes the relationship between man and God and between man and or human being. We have basic human rights in the Islamic law or in the Sharia. We have 5 basic human rights, which is life, the religion of the person, the mind or the intellect, the wealth, the honor. Any violation of those was considered a punishable crime. It's a crime in Islam. Islam stands strongly against any threat towards any of these 5 priorities in man's life. Islam would like to preserve these rights of any human being. We have the penal law in Islam, or the criminal code in Islam, which is, of course, many people, how to say this, create a lot of confusion in many minds. We have what we call had or hudud, which are crimes with prescribed punishment mentioned in the Holy Quran. Or we have what we call ta'zir, crimes and punishments defined by judges. The hudud which are mentioned in the Quran, we have about adultery. If a person commits adultery, so he will be punished with a certain amount of lashes, or if a person is married who is stoned to death, there's something mentioned in the Quran. We have something what we call false accusation of adultery. If a person goes and says, this person is he commit adultery, one person who will be punished because he go publicly to say that. Because this crime needs 4 witnesses to see that person commit that act. So if only 1 person, 2 person go to the judge or to the police and say that, he will be punished because it's a false accusation, no proof. Drunkenness, if a person drink wine, he will be punished. There is a certain punishment, even with, how to say, whipping, whip or certain lashes. A theft, if a person, how to say, commit the crime being a thief, so with a certain amount of money, with a certain thing, he will be punished. Or armed robbery, if somebody stands on the road, anybody goes, he will take his money or might kill him. There is a punished, he will be killed. Or if a person killed another person, he will be killed for that. Of course, for each crime, you have a certain, how to say, what we call in the law is for certain procedures. Like, for example, for the crime of theft, be a thief. If you are leaving that bag and somebody come, the door was open and somebody take that bag and go away, it is not under that punishment mentioned in the Quran. For this crime to be really punished, even with cutting the hand, it's very severe. You need, the door is closed, how to say, with a key. So the person really broke into the place and take that thing and goes out. And that bag should be of a certain amount, not, for example, let's say a pen or so trivial or whatever. If it's there's a certain amount of money. So it means that he intended to go inside and take it. Not only this. Suppose that person steals to eat. So no punishment for that. just to give you example, because we are talking about that, I would like to talk about each one. There is a certain time during the time of Umar ibn Khattab, he was a ruler, the second caliph of Muslims, where we have, at that time, we have slaves, we have masters and so on. So there are some people working with somebody or servants, and they go and steal. So he bring them, he punish them. Why you steal? Because we are hungry. That man doesn't offer us any food. So he told him, if they steal again, I will cut your hand. Another thing, Umar ibn Khattab once, he asked one of the, not only one, he appointed the rulers in different countries. So he asked them before they go, what will you do if a person steals? He said, cut his hand. They say, if a person comes to complain to me that he is hungry from your own state, I will cut your hand. What does it mean? It means that Islam, as a religion, will provide everything possible to the people, not to approach that crime. So once you have everything, for example, we have, as a Muslim, why I explain to you about the belief, about the prayer, about the zakat, we want to put it in a framework. Don't take a punishment and say, oh, how Islam is doing like that. There is a certain framework. The framework for this crime, for example, that we have the zakat. The zakat is collected from the rich Muslims and be given to the poor Muslims. And the poor Muslim should not feel inferior or feel shame or anything because he take the money of the zakat. Actually, this is his right. He has the right to take it with no shame, nothing. So the money will be taken from the rich and given to the poor. Not only that, we have the sadaqah or the charity. That the Muslim rich will even give charity more than the zakat. This is one thing. After that, if a Muslim doesn't have money, doesn't have something to eat, he needs to go to the treasury at that time. Maybe you don't know, maybe you have a certain ministry or whatever, these days that he can go and say, I don't have enough. So if that's the case, they will give him. So what does it mean? It means doors are closed upon any excuse for you to commit that crime. What does it mean that you go and do that after everything is certain? So, no. So this is a very severe punishment. This punishment the aim is not to punish the people. The aim is to deter them from approaching that crime. Remember, don't do this thing. You have other ways to do, either through the zakah, or the soul charity, or even there is certain time also during Umar ibn Khattab. They have what we call the day of famine. The year of famine. There is a certain year where no water is coming. What to do? Of course, people don't have something to eat. They might go and steal and eat. So during that year, he stopped any punishment for theft or for stealing at that year, all the year, because there is a certain reason. So as we say, we bought the Islamic law with the penal code because some people take certain things and say, oh, this is barbaric, this is too harsh, or this is so and so. If we put it in that framework, if you remember, a Muslim believes in Allah, that Allah sees him everywhere, so he will not do something wrong. Okay, after that, the Muslim, when he did something wrong, he will return and repent to Allah. Everything is there, detailed for you, that you will not, or prevent you that not to do that crime. The Muslim community will help you. The Muslim community, when he sees you do something wrong, he will tell you, don't do this. He will show you the way. The Muslim brotherhood, if somebody is unemployed, somebody will help him. And. So within that community, these crimes or these punishments will be applied. That everything is there. So if you, after all this, you go and commit that